news that's coming in at the top of this hour. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar has met with the families of the 8 Indians who were detained in Qatar last year, and then a court awarded them the death sentence on charges of espionage very recently. Dr. S. Jaishankar, Union External Affairs Minister, in fact tweeted about his meeting with the families of these former Indian Navy officers who in fact are in Qatari custody. He said, and I quote him over here, met this morning with the families of the 8 Indians detained in Qatar, stressed that government attaches the highest importance to the case, fully share the concerns and pain of the families, underline that the government will continue to make all efforts to secure their release, will coordinate closely with the families in that regard. Our Foreign Affairs editor, Geeta Mohan, is joining us over the phone line right now this morning. Geeta, the Foreign Affairs Minister has in fact met with the families of the 8 Indian ex-Navy personnel and officers who in fact were recently awarded a death sentence in a case of alleged espionage in Qatar. What are the options before the Indian government now?
Well, they have been in a huddle, Paulami, trying to get to the legal options that India has, that the 8 ex-naval officers who were detained in Qatar have. They will be providing all the legal assistance as they have been. They certainly will be seeking consular access again with the 8 Indians in Qatari custody. And meeting with the family members at a time when the family members have been writing, tweeting, approaching the Indian government, seeking help. It has been a very arduous 1 year for the family members. They have been detained way before that, but the past 1 year, where the trial took place, sentencing was awarded last year, 10 years maximum, 3 to 7 years for the rest of the 7. One of them had got a 10-year sentence. Was difficult, and then solitary confinement. So a very difficult period, not just for the family members, but particularly for those who've been detained in Qatar. And it hasn't helped matters that that a court in Qatar has now awarded them death sentence. So the Indian administration working on the legal options. The first option, certainly, Paulami, would be looking at appealing and challenging the decision itself. But how they'll go about it, what are the contours of the case going to be, is something we'll have to wait and see. When we talk about prisoner exchange that India and Qatar have, although yet to be ratified on the Indian side, it is for those prisoners who have a sentence, and those who can be then sent to India or vice versa after the sentencing is announced. In this case, it is not it's not a prison sentence; it's a death penalty, and the charges are very, very serious: espionage against Qatar. So, there are apart from the legal formalities, the other very important channel of communication is the bilateral one between the Qatari government and the Indian administration, which has been ongoing as well. The Indian government has been taking up their case time and again, but it seems like it was to no avail. And now we'll have to wait and see how the Indian government now approaches this entire case after the death penalty has been awarded.
Right. Geeta, thank you so much for bringing us all of those details. The Ministry of External Affairs, they're of course exploring all legal options as far as these 8 former naval officers are concerned. Their families, in fact, have met with the External Affairs Minister this morning.